Are you preparing for the Applied Knowledge Test, AKT? I recently passed this test. I thought it would be interesting to share some strategies I wish I knew early in my preparation. My name is Erwin, I'm a GP trainee. AKT is a fair exam. If you prepare sufficiently, you will pass it. I would say at least 2.5 months of preparation is necessary to cover the entire curriculum. Planning is an essential step in your preparation. Decide which sitting would be best for you. If you're working on a hectic post like A&E or medicine, it may not be the best time to sit the test. I sat in October 2018 during my GP post. Having some experience of GP was an advantage, but is not a must. The benefit of taking the test during my GP post was I could tailor my revision to the cases I've seen. Be sure to request study leaves early on for private study and book leave to sit the test. Generally, a trainee is allowed to use 5 days of study leaves for private study. Once you have committed to sit the AKT on a specific date, devise a plan to keep you on track. I suggest you plan topics you will cover each week based on the RCGP AKT curriculum. An effective way to organize how you revise is to make a generic weekly timetable so you know what activities you're doing each day of the week. Here's an example of my weekly timetable. In preparation for the AKT, you will be absorbing a large volume of knowledge. It's important to study smart. I will share 3 insights that will make your preparation effective. Insight number 1. Studies have shown time and time again that active recall is the most effective way of learning. Signing up to question banks and going through the questions was mainly how I learned. Say this week I'm covering men's health. I will work through most of the questions on that specific topic. This allowed me to identify which specific area in men's health I need to focus more. If you get a question wrong, make sure you read in depth about the subject and options to the question. Personally, I use 3 question banks: past medicine, past test, and self-test. I found using more than one question bank A. increased my exposure to different styles of questions, B. complemented my learning when one of the question banks did not provide sufficient questions on a topic. If you have completed all the questions from a question bank, I highly recommend moving to a different question bank. You need to attempt new questions instead of wasting time reattempting the same question you already answered correctly. Progressively, you need to increase the number of questions you attempt per day to build the stamina needed. Think about it as training for a marathon. You need to build your fitness with time. A common question I get is, which question bank should I go for? I signed up to GP self-test to begin my preparation. I found the level of question on GP self-test relatively easy. I moved on to past test, which was a good question bank. The only thing I would say about past test was that some of the explanation were not relevant to the question. I found past medicine by far the best question bank. It had a large scope of question. Past medicine does a great job of organizing the question into different topics. You could personalize your revision if you want to focus your revision on high yield topics, questions that you incorrectly answered. The experience you get on past medicine is more complete. The explanation given is relevant to the point, and it's also based on the AKT examiner's report. Insight number 2. Spaced repetition learning. Spaced repetition is a learning technique whereby studying is spread out over time. Repetition over intervals of time is an effective way to acquire a large number of facts and retain them in long-term memory. Hermann Ebbinghaus, a psychologist who conducted research on learning and forgetting, described an exponential decline in retention over time known as a forgetting curve. Our brain is designed to naturally forget knowledge unless we consciously revisit what we learn. You're likely to forget half of new learned knowledge in a matter of several days to weeks. How can you apply spaced repetition? You can increase the repetition of newly learned knowledge by reattempting incorrectly answered questions over an interval of time. Typically, I would have rollover slot in my timetable to reattempt incorrectly answered questions from last week's topic. You can roll over questions or revisit newly learned knowledge in a week or 2 week time, and so on to strengthen memory for active recall. Insight number 3. Concept learning. Concept learning is a way of learning that allows you to organize knowledge in your brain effectively. Instead of reciting a list, see how you can classify causes, drugs, or risk factors and weave each part in a story. Concept learning is a strategy which requires a learner to compare groups or categories that contain concept-relevant features with groups or categories that do not contain concept-relevant features. An example would be the P450 enzyme inducers. The mnemonic you may use is SCRAP-GP, sulfonylurea, carbamazepine, rifampicin, alcohol, phenytoin, griseofulvin, and phenobarbital. Another example of concept learning is to picture a boy who can't pee, can't see, can't climb a tree. And that's Reiter's syndrome, classically described as a triad of conjunctivitis, urethritis, and arthritis. I want to give a quick shout out to eMedica and Aurora Medical Education. I have interviewed both founders, their content are incredible. What I like about eMedica was the MRCGP AKT 30-day challenge. It's really good if you have 2 minutes just to go through one of the videos every day up to the AKT exam. Aurora Medical Education, I found their playlist really useful. And Aurora have got playlists for different topics and was really useful to go through these topics when I had some spare time. You can access their content for free. I highly recommend you have a look. Thanks for watching this video till the end. I wish you every success in your AKT. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please comment in the comment section. I will be happy to answer them. Let me know what's your favorite insight from this video. Send me a message at Success Insights TV on Instagram.